This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
And it's nice.
It's early on, it's early doors, and already I've had an uncontrollable laughing fit off air because Frank told me that Stanley Matthews played football until he was 50.
Yeah, played professional football. We were talking. Emily was asking me how long I thought Cristiano Ronaldo might play for, and I pointed out that Stanley Matthews played till he was 50. I don't know if that could happen in the Premier League.
Oh, I wish it would.
I think he was still like
change his game a little.
He was still like beating three men, you know, and he was in many ways the Ronaldo of his day with his jinxing, dribbly runs.
I wish you still got...
Obviously, that was when he got to 50.
I miss the bald footballers.
Yeah, well, he was bald.
Well, I know.
Stanley Matthews. He also advertised cigarettes. But to be fair to him, he would only advertise tipped cigarettes because he was a professional sportsman.
He was such a responsible man.
He was very. And he used to say, the advert said something about cork, about the cork cleaning out all the bad stuff, which, can I say, kids, it doesn't. No. All cigarettes are very, very bad. The
transplant has wiped out the bald footballer, and I just, you know...
There's a few left.
Really?
Yeah.
We won't name them.
There's who's the Sheffield United? A lot of them grow beards.
And then Frank goes to name them.
They grow beards, so they look like... Do you remember those iron filing games when you could move iron filings around with a magnet to make beards and hair and stuff? They go for that look.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with beards. The producer has pointed out. Who goes out with a man who's got a beard like a forest.
It's luxurious.
Oh, it's well cared for.
It's lush.
See, my beard was because I was too drunk to shave. Consequently, it was not well groomed at all. But
no, I've seen the pictures, darling.
But when you see a nice beard, you think, oh, nice beard.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
That's me. That's what I think. But
who's your favourite beard? Brian Blessed. Come on.
I don't know about Brian, but he's so
voice
loud.
Of controversy.
I would think there was a sort of doormat of saliva constantly under the lower lip. Because you know how actors... It must have all been to the theatre when you see spit shooting all over the place. Because nowadays it's like being on a shooting range. Yeah. So dangerous. Yeah. But, so no, I don't like his much.
Okay.
I like those ZZ Top beards.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? They look like you could easily get a comb through them.
One.
Nordic.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to have beard envy of the Premier League footballer Olaf Melberg. Who
Oh yeah.
I don't know where he's gone to, but he had a very handsome beard.
He's probably gone to Valhalla. I wouldn't be surprised. Can I tell you something that happened to me at the weekend? Sure. When I left this show, I went away for a sojourn in the country.
All right.
I drove to
Middle England. The sojourn in the country.
Yeah, I drove to Stinchcombe, which is in Gloucestershire. Do you know it?
Oh,
no.
Okay. It's 107 miles. Took me 5 3/4 hours.
Ooh.
Wowie.
Yeah, I ate a bit
your
of...
car sounds really slow.
I ate a bit of... You know what? I ate a bit of a snarl up.
Oh, I hate
It was a snarl up. There's no other way of putting it.
What happened?
Oh, well, I was...
Not much.
I'm only telling you this because of the extent of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a long journey, Frank.
And I didn't stop for a comfort break.
Did you?
What? No.
Your control is phenomenal.
I know. Partly because
we don't know that. He might have soiled his brand new car.
No, it's partly because I hate comfort in all its manifestations.
Yes, you do.
Not the fabric conditioner.
No.
Actually, I hate that. I hate that as well. I'm going to officially say I hate Comfort, the fabric. I don't like my jumpers until they feel like they're made of Hessian. Only then can I truly feel at home in them. I thought if this couldn't double as an Elephant Man cowl, I don't want to wear it.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what I did. This is what really was bad for morale. Is that the A40 was so bad. I did a thing I never ever do, and I thought I'm going to get off at the next junction and find my way round this, which is not. I mean, I can't find my way to the lavatory most of the time.
You still, every time we leave Absolute Radio, you sort of slightly falter, knowing where to go to your car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also when I get in my car, and I noticed this morning, when I approach my car, I have to look for the steering wheel so I know which door to get in. I always have to do that. Nevertheless, I decided to get off at a junction, and I thought, and there was still a load of traffic because a lot of other people getting off, because it was really like the end of the world, not stationary traffic. So
Can
what I did...
I'm sorry to interject, but Al, I'm sure you'll appreciate the need to ask this. Were you using Waze or another
I was using
sat-nav? I'm not being paid by Waze.
Whatever's on the car.
His new car must have sat-nav.
Yeah, exactly. So I was using that. I've got it 3D. I don't want it 3D, but I can't get it off it.
All right.
And also later this week, a woman has started giving me directions on it. I don't like the voice.
Kath will do that.
No, but I don't like the voice. I don't want the voice. I can't switch it off. I'm stuck with it.
You can get Boy George's voice, which is good.
No.
I don't want anyone's voice.
Okay.
It's the crux. Anyway, so I got off. I actually went off at the junction, which is one of the most grown-up things I've ever done in a car. And I
Would it
followed.
be more grown up to get out of the car and go for a walk like some people do in traffic jams?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I saw a bit of road rage yesterday when a man got out of his car to go and tell off this bloke who'd cut in front of him. Because if you cut in front of someone, you don't want to be doing it into stationary traffic.
Yeah.
And he came round and they were, oh man, it was so male.
Oh.
Can you send me the video?
I didn't. It would have been a good video actually, because a lot of finger wagging. But the bloke didn't wind down his window, and I always think, you win if they don't wind down their windows.
Yeah. Go on. So you're off the junction.
So this is what I did. I got off at the junction, and I thought, well, I have achieved something now. And then of course I started heading for the next junction. And then I drove around a bit, and there's still a lot of traffic because everyone was trying to get out of it. Anyway, I got back onto the A40 exactly where I'd come off. As I drove down, I thought, that van, I recognised that van. That van was just in front of me, and now it's like 200 yards. And I just drove straight back into the same traffic jam, just a bit further back.
How did you feel?
I felt unwell.
I would have.
Luckily, I had, I think it was the Time Sirens, which is a 3-Doctor adventure on CD.
Oh, here we go.
Which got me through it. I also at one point listened to Ralph Richardson reading The Rime of the Ancient Mariner 3 times in succession, because I had time on my hands.
Yeah,
I think it's fair.
Could you imagine being stuck in traffic, hearing that from the
A sadder and a wiser man. He rose the morrow morn.
Exactly.
I mean, the glitter.
It is, and he does it like that. It is an ancient He doesn't just do it. It's an ancient man. It is an ancient mariner. He stoppeth 1 in 3. Car horn sounds. Oh dear. So it was a terrible circular Kafka-esque man trapped in the modern world drama on the way home. But it's all right.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
The last big traffic jam I got stuck in, I was trying to get back home to watch England play in the Euros and completely missed the game. Maybe we should run a where were you going when you did your when you got stuck in your last big traffic jam?
Well, my plus was there wasn't a real deadline to get to the place I was going, which then you can relax. I mean, it becomes, for a man of my age, a bit of shed time, sitting in the car on your own. It's quite nice. I had some chocolate almonds with me, extra strong mints.
Extra strong mints, lovely cab driver
and of
from
course,
the 70s.
water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink.
Well, I had a few long journeys, Frank, myself, and I wouldn't describe it as a traffic jam. It was sort of a gentle hold-up.
Yeah, wasn't a snarl-up.
Wasn't a snarl-up. And I quite like it, though, the sense of community, that I feel they're my temporary brethren. The cars, you get quite familiar with the cars that are sort of immediately in front of you and next to you.
Yeah.
And when the traffic jam disperses, I feel slightly empty inside. I feel like I have to say goodbye to them. I miss them, is what I'm saying.
Well, I was in a lovely one in Marseille, where a man started blasting his horn, even though clearly nothing could be done. And in the end, we all did. Everybody started blasting. And it was sort of at the universe, not at other car use. And it was a lovely communal feeling.
Do you also feel, boys?
Kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a bit of that. It reminded me, of course, when an alien attacks the Earth and suddenly the Earthlings become unified, like in Independence Day, that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I have another great thing about the traffic jam is I feel it's a calorie-free zone.
Not when you've got chocolate almonds and extra strong mint.
Oh, no, but I think she means they don't count.
It doesn't count. It's like being on a plane. I sort of feel all the rules go out the window.
Yes.
The Tang Fast sticks, I ate a packet.
Yeah.
It's quite. I mean, that's quite a lot.
My frustrating thing was I ran out of Doctor Who Big Finish audio. And then I realised afterwards that in the new car I can play it straight from the app. And I thought I haven't got the CDs. That was frustrating. But generally it was okay. And when I arrived, everyone was going, "Oh God, that must have been a nightmare." And I was saying, "No, it was all right actually." 5 3/4 hours in the car.
Wow.
Well, it's a new car, and it's not, it's not a major hardship, is it?
I feel I've worked my way around the dash a bit more now.
Yeah.
It's a great way of finding your way around the dash. Is finding 5 3/4 hours in solid traffic, because you can have a look at it. There's no one going to. You're not going to hit anything, so you're not moving.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was. I saw some. I'll tell you a couple of things I saw, though.
What, on the dash?
I saw 2 things I've never seen before. Now, you might both turn on me and say, "What?"
Frank,
there's one of those on every corner. But
I think this is too good to waste. I think you should do a little tease for 2 things that Frank found on his dash.
2 things I saw on the road that I have never seen before. When I say on the road, I mean,
We know.
Yeah. I don't mean... I'm not going to list roadkill if anyone's anxious.
Oh, God.
Biggest roadkill you've ever seen. 8, 12, 15.
Brilliant.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'm playing that for my partner, Kath, who loves Kate Bush, and whose birthday it was this week. What did I buy her?
What?
Well, I bought her a Sharpies box set.
That's sharp.
Nice.
Oh.
It's Sharpies, collection of Sharpies of
Felted
various
pens.
colours. Yeah.
Oh.
But different...
Back to school.
I didn't realise.
Like beginning of a new term.
Mother care
In a
goes back to
supermarket
school.
in a 3 for the price of 2 offer in the back to school.
I didn't know
section.
there was fine Sharpies. Did you? Fine pointed ones.
I'm not that up on the world of
No.
Pat Sharpies.
In fact, the Sharpies I've come to know ought to be called Blunties.
That means something else, Frank.
Does it?
Oh, does it?
Not to Frank.
Okay.
Okay. So here's
I like
one of
it
the
when
things.
you're the first person.
I was driving past a public house, and I saw parked on the car park.
Hang on, is this part of your teaser?
This is one of the things.
The 2 we were on tenterhooks here. I haven't been this excited since the last Doctor Who season started.
No, so
2 things Frank saw on the road.
okay. So parked on the pub car park, there was a psychic hot. And a psychic hot it was a trailer on a car, and it said psychic hot, and on the back of it the door was shut. And I wrote this down. It said, reading in progress, do not knock the door.
No.
It said, I suppose if you do, not once for yes, twice for no. But yeah, so it was, and it was bright red trailer.
Oh.
And I was really hoping, because there was a front door where you went for consultations, and then at the back there was another door, which must be where the bloke goes out for a smoke or whatever, or a woman. And I was really hoping there'd be a couple of blokes dressed as ghosts, just hanging around out the back waiting for their appearance. But,
with the Reebok trainers visible underneath the sheet.
But can you believe it was quite a deluxe, quite a cute little trailer, bright red.
Oh, I think there's quite a bit of money in ripping people off about the other world, isn't
Okay,
there?
well, I'm not saying they were ripping people off. I
World of
believe
Spirits?
they are now
No,
part
I
of
am.
the entertainment industry, are they not?
Are they?
I think they
It's a
have
loophole,
to define what they do as entertainment legally.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I believe so. But anyway, it's 20 quid a throw. It's had all the details on the outside.
And it's
of the
in.
hut.
And what's the address? Is it public
Well, it's
car
mobile.
park? Oh.
So you could get. They'll come to you.
They come to you.
Yeah.
Like Deliveroo.
Yeah. Exactly. Deliver. Ooh.
Oh, Frank, that needs a jingle. Come on, that is incredible work.
That's what they should call it, I think. So anyway, I saw that, and then I saw. Now, you guys might have seen. It was one of those things that I thought, I bet these have been around for ages, but I've never seen it. It's a new phenomenon. Oh, now we got another cliffhanger. I've got two cliffhangers over the two things. I've
Don't
seen on
do
the-
this to me, Frank. I mean, the excitement levels, I can't go.
I know, luckily, knowing that I'm a man who can go 5 3/4 hours without urinating has helped me get through the stress of these two cliffhangers.
Okay.
But it's going to be all right, everyone. It's worth waiting for. Or not.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
So now this is one of these. I feel this could go wrong, because I could tell you this and it could just be nonsense, and I've misinterpreted it, and I'll be humiliated publicly.
Oh, the very
Gamble with
idea.
observational comedy, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I'll have a go.
I think humiliation is probably my best cardiovascular nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw a man who
This
had
is the second thing we should
Yeah,
say that
I
Frank
saw-
saw on the road.
I saw a car and it had a sticker on the back that said, "I've got a black box fitted."
Yeah.
Now, the only black box I've ever heard of is the thing on that tells you what went wrong on the aeroplane. Do you know what I mean?
I like your technical description.
Yeah.
The thing that tells you what went wrong.
Yeah, well, that's what it's for, isn't it? But
Yeah.
this, then it was like a joke sticker also, and it said, "Yes, I'm," and then there was some words with asterisks.
Oh, how
I'm not happy.
unpleasant.
But basically, I'm not happy about it either. And then this, the driver was observing the speed limit so religiously. Well, it was annoying. You know what it's like when people
Right.
observe the speed limit.
What a square, eh?
Oh no! I mean,
Loser.
they're only a guide. For goodness' sake, clearly they're only a guide.
You know what, Al? Since he's got that new car,
No,
Yeah.
but
he's
Right, a real boy racer.
he's
isn't he?
turned into one of those guys, hasn't he?
you know what I mean, though. It reminded
Yeah.
me of. I'm assuming. I mean, tell me, does that mean that there's a black box won't let you go above the speed limit?
I think
Is
it
there
just
such a
sort
thing?
of watches them. I don't know for sure.
Is it like the spy in the cab? Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Lorry drivers used to moan about the spy in the cab, the tachograph, I think it was called.
That's right. It's still going, I think.
Yeah, imagine how confused Mexican lorry drivers must have been by that.
Does he? So does he mean he's watching you?
Well,
Yeah, I think
Is it the
so.
equivalent of when the News of the World used to say, our lawyers are watching?
no, but
I
he's
think what happens is if they then have a crash, the insurers look at the black box and they say, actually, you were driving at 32 mph during this impact,
Yeah, but who
which
would
is
have
above
that?
the legal speed limit.
who would want that in their car?
Somebody that wants £100 a year off their car insurance or whatever it is.
And the price they have to pay is to
Yeah.
observe the speed limit.
Is to be watched.
There isn't enough. Not for £10,000 would I do that.
There's a
So
cost
Absolute
benefit
Radio
to
encourages
everything, isn't
everyone to observe the
Of
national speed
course,
limit.
of course. I'm only. Of
All
course,
right,
this is
Rosper.
this is lightheartedness. I wouldn't for one
Okay.
second break any speed limit. Let me make that absolutely clear.
So this character, Frank, and I have to say, anyone with a sign saying "I've got a black box fitted," I would describe very much as a character.
Yeah, well, especially as it sort of said, yes, I'm blah
Boring
blah
character.
asterisked about it as well. Is what it said. Yeah.
Does it mean he's had a previous run-in with the law? I mean, it's sort of the equivalent of an electronic tag, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's saying, look, I've got to have this black box. It's my shame.
Yeah, well, I wondered
essentially.
if it was like a sort of ASBO tag or something like that you had to have if you've been. You know, it's
I don't
the.
know if they have those anymore,
It's
Frank.
a
Whatever happened
stage. You know that speeding course? I think both of you went on it, didn't you? Those
Oh, name and
courses.
shame, why don't you?
We went on it together. We went on it together. It's how we
We're
met.
not the ones.
That'd be a great romance, wouldn't it? We met on a speeding course. Yeah, we took things pretty steady at the beginning. Oh man. Anyway, it was. I found it. Yeah, there he was observing the speed limit like there was no tomorrow. In fact, more like there was a tomorrow.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 8 12 15. Some of you have, and we'll be reading those in a second. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
We've had a lovely, I'm going to retweet it actually, from one of our listeners, Eve Potts.
Okay.
I like the sound of Eve Potts. Is she
Sounds
a
like an-
relative of Caractacus?
Yeah. Or an event in the Highland Games.
Yeah. The Potts family
Yeah.
were away this week, skimming stones on Ullswater.
Oh.
Nice.
And Comedy Gold, Eve Potts has pointed out, from the youngest Potts this week. Good stones with lots of bounce, referred to as Frank Skimmers.
Very nice. I'll tell you what I like about that is my son is a very enthusiastic stone skimmer, so I can drop that in. It is a great feeling when you get anything over 4 bounces. It's really tremendous.
And he's with his father, Matthew Potts, who, what I like is Matthew refers to himself as an official grumpy git.
Oh,
So he'd be a lovely friend for you, Frank.
yeah,
Welcome to the gang.
yeah. It's is it true that Barnes Wallis, the man who invented the bouncing bomb, who broke down a lot of German dams, is it true that he got the idea from watching his child skimming a stone on the thing? Do you have any ideas?
It's a very specific text in your.
It is.
I was going to say, I mean,
It's- you know my
15.
Barnes Wallis text.
it's just,
Specific,
Have you ever seen the
'cause
film?
We're only going to get yes or no text messages.
The Dam Busters film has got the worst special effects of any film I've ever seen from any
oh, have you
era.
not seen Doctor Who recently?
How dare you?
Frank, Steve Clifton has also been in touch.
Steve-o!
Steve Clifton from Sales. Yeah, I was talking to Steve Clifton about the van. He said he's done 11k. We're going to have to ramp it.
Sorry, have I drifted onto talk radio? Steve Clifton saw a girl wearing one of those sweatshirts with her classmates' names on the back. You know, that I believe that's a thing in schools, isn't
Yeah.
it? From the logo, I could tell she went to a faith school. So I was
Okay.
disappointed that it still said Leavers 21, i.e. the year, when surely Believers 21 would have been far more appropriate.
Yeah, that would have been good.
I know.
Well, till next time. I'll be leaving again next year, let's face it.
And we've also had a lot of people, Al, haven't we, getting in touch about the black box?
Oh yes, the black box. So what? So was Al right? It's a sort of an insurance thing.
Pretty much.
It's a motoring issue. Of course he was right.
Of course.
Young drivers can have black boxes to get cheaper insurance. They're restricted to speed, miles they do. Insurance for under 20-year-olds is around £4,000. And black box, perfect sound effect, by the way.
That was really good.
I've been spending a lot of time with builders.
Reduce this by 1,000.
My goodness. Yeah.
That's all right. From Martin. I had a weird thing the other day with a car. This is very illustrative of the change in my life over the years. I was driving and the car made this horrific metal screeching sound.
Oh, no.
Properly horrible, like not even sci-fi, like just too real.
I was going to say, that's what Frank has all the time with his Davros tapes.
As it happened, it was a noise that I thought I had heard on a previous car that we'd had, where behind the wheel, like a metal dust plate had come off and was screeching against the wheel.
You hadn't gone through your synchromesh, I hope.
Anyway, I so happened to be like just 2 corners away from a mechanic that I use quite often.
Oh God, that's
so I just drove it straight
Mechanic
to him.
I use quite often.
Yeah, my local mechanic.
Oh God. I wonder what mine is.
now
I must ask my PA.
Yours-
Am I going to have to do a cliffhanger on the noise I heard from my car wheel? Because it's time to...
Yeah, I'm
I'm
also...
keen on that. Can you do anything like an impression of it, though?
Oh, it was like but worse. At least 100
I have
times
to say,
worse.
Emily's right. That I hear that a lot in my car, but it is my Big Finish audio. Did it at any point go, Doctor?
I can't remember it doing so.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was mid-car wheel noise anecdote.
Yeah.
But at first I didn't know it was the car wheel. I knew that it sounded a bit like a previous car problem that I'd had, where this metal sort of dust cap was screeching against the wheel. So I took it round to Andy, my local mechanic, and he
Sorry, are you in an episode of EastEnders? Who has a local mechanic called Andy?
Everyone's got a local mechanic, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they must have. Yeah.
So he jacked the car up and he took the wheel off and he's sort of putting his hand behind it, and a tiny stone fell out as he was taking the wheel, and it had been between like 2 metal plates, making a horrific sound. And Andy swore. He said, there it is, the little thing. He wasn't happy about it. Anyway, this is the reason that I bring this up, because it's quite illustrative of my change in life. I phoned my wife and said, oh yeah, it was a stone the size of couscous. And then
Al, you've ruined this. There was so much testosterone in this story, and I was loving that, and now you've ruined it.
It gets worse. I corrected myself when on the phone. I went, actually, no, not couscous, more like Bulgar wheat.
Wow.
I said, no, it was even bigger than that. It was about the size of a toasted pine nut.
Oh, wow.
I got free school dinners, and now listen to me.
Welcome, Al. We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Really middle-class mechanical problems I'm having now.
That's it's good, though, because I couldn't picture Bulgar wheat. I mean, I must have eaten it, but I couldn't. Just like that, if somebody said to me, if they got a wheat identification chart, I'd struggle on that.
You'll have been served it, Frank, at one of those parish brunches.
But if you crash the gears now, if that's still possible, isn't it synchromesh that you remove? People are always talking about that.
I don't know.
You're just making up terms now.
Oh, okay. Anyone out there? 8, 12, 15. What's synchromesh? Andy will know, won't he?
Oh, yeah.
Ask Andy.
Yeah.
Do you know, I love that you've got a guy called Andy.
It must be great.
I miss having I like those people and a woman, but I'm just saying in this instance, Andy is there for all your mechanical needs, and I like
Yeah.
people like that.
But when you go around out, are you slightly uncomfortable at the sight of his ribald calendar?
No, I'm fine with it.
How many peanuts has he torn off?
Oh, I'd be worse than that, I bet.
Oh, will it?
Yeah. But you're going to get your hands dirty anyway at work.
I find whenever I go in to get something, there's a place not far from you, Frank. You'll know where it is, where I go regularly.
No, I
to
won't.
Get
I won't, no.
Oh no, you won't actually. To get my pressure checked, etc. And I
okay.
find
Therapy.
I assume a bit of a persona, sort of garage girl.
Oh, okay.
I go a little bit like, yeah, I'm laid back, I'm cool girl. I sort of go, hey guys. I wouldn't ever say that.
Oh,
in that
well,
way.
see, I like to think you'd go a little bit posher.
Oh no.
I think they'd like that. Oh, that posh bird's coming in this afternoon.
Oh no. No, I go a bit, sort of, hey guys, how you doing? Oh, I don't like my garage persona. It's a bit try hard, Frank.
It's not, you don't have to do it that much of the time. Well, there you go. I feel now I'm in that thing where there was a moment I could have got out the link.
Oh, I've ruined it.
No, you haven't.
I did a bit.
No, I could have got out there. That would have been.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Go on.
I'll tell you
I'll
what we
take the
could
blame.
get out on.
Go on.
The lovely thing for you from 387.
Go on.
Saw Frank at the Liverpool Empire recently, and he was much like a scarecrow, outstanding in his field.
That's good, that, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, I thought that you'd like that. Put a smile on your little face.
Yeah, and also I've got a scarecrow element. As I was once introduced by Bob Monkhouse, and he said, and now Frank Skinner, a man who hasn't let success go to his clothes.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
So, what else from the outside world?
Well, I think first and foremost, we should deal with the fact that we've had synchromesh defined for us.
Okay.
082 has helped. Hi team, synchromesh removes the need to double declutch, i.e. when you change gear you don't have to match the engine revs to the new gear.
There you go. Now, was I accused of making that word up, synchromesh?
Yes,
now
you
it
were.
turns out.
I humbly apologise.
How marvellous.
Or something like that. And then he says, you still hear lorry drivers double declutching. Regards, Jimmy the Face.
It's a different world.
Jimmy the Face.
I'd also like to just hark back to last week's show for a message that we've just got in.
I love it when we hark
698.
back.
Of course you do.
Previously on the show, you were discussing writing letters to people that
I'm going
you were a fan of, and fan mail.
Yes.
And responses therein. 698 has just sent this splendid example. Catching up on last week's show and interesting responses to fan letters. In the late 70s, while I was at primary school, we were encouraged to write to theatres in London and to ask famous actors for an autograph and one or two insights into their world. I wrote a very polite letter to Kenneth Williams at the Old Vic. Imagine my excitement on receiving his handwritten reply. Unfortunately, there is no record of his vituperative, expletive-laden response, as my mum instantly ripped it up and threw it in the bin.
Oh, no.
As it reduced
dear.
me to horrified tears. Suffice to say, it was a no. That's from Ruth in Blackheath.
Well, for balance, I would
funny.
like to say I had a wonderful autograph opportunity from him. I was banned from asking for autographs.
Oh, well, you're fair
My
enough.
parents wouldn't let me. They said, don't bother people when they're on their day off, darling. It's very rude. But I thought it was fine. And Kenneth Williams, he was at my school fete.
Right.
And I queued. For Williams. And, Al, I've got to say, for balance, I'd like to offer some balance here. He was charming. Okay.
I mean, it's hard. You can see someone losing their temper, having a bad day, but to write a letter, get down, write a letter, put it in an envelope,
Yeah.
put a stamp on it, and
It's
you're still
very-
angry enough to send it during that entire process. That's quite a thing.
Unless he thought it was really funny to send like a letter full of it might have been tongue-in-cheek abuse.
It might.
It doesn't work on the page like text messages.
Especially when you're writing to children, it's probably not.
Yeah.
I was dining out with Peter Cook once. I can't actually tell you what he said, but a guy came up to him and told him what a massive fan he was and stuff. And he was abusive to him, but it was just perfectly. Just the right side of the bloke was sort of enjoying it.
Yes.
But maybe Ken kindly slipped off below the line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do it though. That was if he was also a World War II aeroplane.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Al was sharing with us a fan letter story with a somewhat tragic ending.
Well, let's say Kenneth Williams misjudged his audience and that it was all supposed to be comical.
I like to think so.
Yes.
He didn't read the room.
He didn't read the room.
No, he didn't read the room.
Look, he wasn't hiding. I mean, he did call his memoir Acid Drops.
Yes.
Goodness
that's
sake. Vince from Birmingham has got in touch.
Okay.
When I was 12, 13, I had a massive crush on Svetlana Boginskaya, who is a Russian gymnast at the Seoul Olympics.
Okay.
CFAX or Oracle, marvellous,
Oh,
had a page about getting in contact with Olympians.
really?
Yeah. So, somewhat irresponsible of CFAX or Oracle. Anyway, so I sent her a letter asking for a signed photo. I thought nothing of it. Until about 2 months later, my mum woke me up in an agitated state, asking why I'd been sent a letter from the Russian embassy. Well, she must have been worried that a shy altar boy from the Birmingham suburbs had been got to by the KGB. Alas, no espionage was involved, just a bit of innocent deviancy. No photo was sent, by the way.
Oh.
Just a small letter advising that Svetlana didn't do that sort of thing and not to get in touch again. Brutal.
Wow. That was brutal.
I like the totally gratuitous never get in touch again.
Yeah, because it would have been easier for Svetlana to just sign a photo, wouldn't it?
Or ignore it, just ghost them.
Yeah. Maybe she'd become a non-person in the meantime.
Oh,
God
don't.
forbid.
Oh,
I
dear.
want to Google her now to see what he found in this.
Oh, yeah, right, you want to Google her to see what he found.
Yeah, I'm owning up to that.
Well, good luck Googling Russian gymnasts. I'd clear history if I were you.
Yeah, I'd have a guess at her name. It'll take me an hour or two. Get it. I wrote to Zola Bod, so I've got nothing to be
Did you
proud
really?
of. I did, yeah.
What did you say?
I got a signed photo back.
What did you say?
I said I was an enormous fan of hers and very impressed by
Frank.
her athletic
Feet.
prowess.
Bare feet.
I
Yeah.
don't think I mentioned that.
Okay.
You didn't mention that?
No, I mean, you
That
know.
must have been difficult.
No, it was the first letter. It's not like email. There's something naturally sordid about emails, but a letter has a formality about it. It's a lovely letter, a nice photo.
Did she send you a nice photo? Did she sign it personally?
Yeah, signed. One imagined her as the sort of woman who wrote a name with her tongue sticking out the corner of her mouth. Do you know what I mean?
okay,
Very
yeah.
carefully, very hard pressed on the photo. Like really, you could see a bit of the signature at the back of the card.
Yeah.
It'd have been nice if she'd put her feet into paint and then just stepped on the letter. That would have been...
I imagine her
it was
feet were as hard as iron. Do you
Seems
think?
amazing to think she ran in bare feet now, doesn't it?
It does.
Feet, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
She breeds ostriches now. on her farm in Bloemfontein.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
true?
keeping
Yeah.
up to date with her on the old
Is it
Google
actually,
alerts. You got the old bud alerts on your phone.
Oh yeah, it hasn't everyone.
Frank gets updates on Doctor Who and Zola Butt.
Bad alerts.
Well, I'd also like to. Have we got time? We might have to trail. Should we trail this, Frank?
Go
Let's
on,
tease
trail.
it. Previously, as part of our previous correspondence, most embittered mastermind contestant ever.
Well, that's got me hooked. Because let's face it, that's going to be a big crowd to choose that from, I would have thought.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Very briefly, line 04, we went to West Midlands Safari Park on Wednesday. Oh. Whilst driving around that area, I did wonder if I saw Frank driving a black Land Rover Jeep type vehicle. Could it be? Oh, Frank as a keeper.
Yeah.
Frank working in the Midlands Safari.
If I worked, I'd insist on one of those with like zebra print. You know those Jeeps.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I want zebra print. I don't want a black one.
Frank, are you a ranger?
No, I haven't got any ranger work. I did once feed the penguins at the Cotswold Safari Park.
Oh,
That was great.
lovely.
They love a bit of fish, the penguins.
Do they? Is that all
God,
they
they
eat then,
do.
the fish?
That's all I gave them. They might have I don't know if there was a dessert given by another celebrity.
What were you expecting?
Paul O'Grady
Penguins.
turning up with a pavlova.
I don't know. I suppose I thought, well, they won't just eat fish. You know, you'd get bored, wouldn't you? I thought they might.
You think they
find-
get some chips? Some,
No, I thought they
tartar
might,
sauce,
you know.
mushy peas.
Also, what sort of
Like, you know-
cannibals are these people?
I mean, if they could get any food, it will keep where they operate in the,
Yeah.
the freezing thing.
How long does it keep
I mean, I
for then?
suppose there's a big myth that mice eat cheese, don't they? But if you've ever got mouse traps, then apparently the thing to put on there is chocolate, like Snickers or some bacon or something.
Is that right?
Al, I'll tell you what else.
Apparently so.
Peanut butter. Oh,
Yeah.
the rats.
Let's not talk about killing animals, or Al will read out the biggest ever roadkill text.
We have had that reply.
I know, but
you're
I
right.
mean, I didn't. I don't know if was I serious. I don't know, but it was. It's sad.
No,
I'll
and it's
read it to
sad,
you
and
off
also
air.
with your work as the ranger for the West Midlands Safari
Exactly,
Park,
you know.
you need to be careful of this, Frank.
I mean, imagine the problems we have getting rid of an elephant when they pass.
Yeah.
It's
I see you as a sort of, what was his name? Mr. Peasley, I think he was called.
Ooh,
We're actually
Peasley,
on a-
Peasley.
We're on a cliffhanger.
I'm
the
sorry.
most embittered mastermind contestant.
Yes, I think this was something I suspect that came up when the recent Mastermind winner, who
Yes.
I think you had some sort of online connection with.
Oh, I don't know what you're suggesting.
Did you slip into your DMs then?
No, I didn't meet him on Raya or Tinder.
But I saw him do an interview with. I think he was the youngest ever winner, was he? And then he replaced.
He was.
And they had a little chat with him and the previous youngest ever winner, who seemed to hate him.
No, he was very
for taking his
charming.
record.
He got in touch with me briefly. I mean, it wasn't a sort of Northampton clown type, blossoming romance.
No.
But he was very charming and just got in touch with us. So, okay. We have heard from Budgie. Oh, no, that's Budgie. I do apologise. I thought that was Adam Faith. Morning all. I just caught up with your show of 2 weeks ago in which Frank came out with the vile lies of tomorrow's world.
Oh, yes. This was a different topic then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's World used to tell you what the world would be like in the future, and as it transpired, it was a tissue of lies from more or less from start to finish.
But the vile lies.
Well, they were vile lies. I really, I put down a deposit on a hover car for when I passed my test.
It's the
And the
level of
move.
anger you feel.
The moving pavement. I dreamt of being accompanied to school by the same piece of dog excrement.
Oh.
It didn't happen.
Anyway, this was largely just an excuse to remind myself of the brilliance of the vile lies of tomorrow as well. But Prisoner 879 does say he says this strikes me as a brilliant specialist subject for the world's most embittered mastermind contestant.
All right.
Perhaps Frank could use this if he ever does Celebrity Mastermind. Praise redacted.
The
Oh,
vile lies of tomorrow's world as a
And
topic.
we have Frank Skinner. Can you imagine, Frank?
That would be great.
That would be the
Yeah.
best one ever.
Credit cards will light up in the dark, so that blah, blah, blah.
Imagine you spitting out the answers
Yeah.
venomously.
What were credit cards going to do in the next 20 years? Yeah. What was going to happen to the automatic gearbox? All those, one question after another. No, it would. That would be a good top. So it was nothing to do with the man who was the bitterest. I brought him up for no good reason. Oh, well, he's probably still fairly bitter about the whole thing. I think that's all. I imagine, we all go on about bad losers and that, but bad losers are much more entertaining than good losers, always.
Oh, they stick around.
When they used to have that thing at the end of the Weakest Link, when they'd done the Walk of Shame, when they used to interview them, do you remember that? And sometimes they'd be, I thought that was really unfair because some of them were really funny, great. I loved their indignation. The Guardian.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Has there been contact?
Yeah.
There has, actually.
Okay.
In fact, one of the people that has contacted via text message is the BBC football correspondent Jason Mohammed on his way to Salford to cover the football.
Yeah,
He's your new friend now.
Yeah, I got interviewed by Jason Mohammed, and what a nice man he is. We're planning to see a Cardiff City West Brom game.
He's brought that up.
Okay.
He said, just texting in to say, good to hear Frank talking on a recent podcast about how he loves Cardiff. A reminder, the offer to pop down and watch CCFC beat West Brom still stands. Oh, football bants as well.
Yeah, bants.
It's got it all.
Bants?
Is the
does
Doctor
mention
Who
your fine book.
The Doctor Who Experience,
Yeah.
which used to have its own building on the bay. There was talk of moving it to Cardiff Castle. I wonder if that has happened.
I'm probably not the best person to ask.
No, I'm
If
looking
they did
at
that.
I'm looking at you, but I'm asking the world.
If they did that and then the space was just left vacant, they could just add a question mark to the Doctor Who, like they've completely forgotten.
Well,
Doctor Who?
Well, Lee Mack told me that he'd been to the Doctor Who Experience and they had my outfit from when I was in Doctor Who there.
To be fair, your outfit...
stuck in his throat to tell me, but nevertheless.
To be fair, your outfit from Doctor Who is probably the only outfit in the entire history of the show that I would wear.
Oh, okay. You like that sort of Bernard Cribbins, The Railway Children
I
look.
think I could work that look. You
Yeah,
had a sort of... Did you have a waistcoat, Frank?
I had dungarees. There
Yeah.
may have been a waistcoat as well. I can't remember.
I think I could rock that as if I was sort of running some sort of theatre workshop in Stoke Newington.
Well, Faye, our assistant producer to be next week, she you go dungarees on occasion. That's sort of more of a sort of handy-pandy type of style.
Oh,
than
Andy Pandy,
than
what a lovely reference.
than an engineer.
Did he? What was Andy Pandy's friend?
I don't know. Ask Al. He goes to his for mechanical advice. Andy Pandy, Teddy Bear. The Teddy wasn't that? Was his one of his friends?
Yeah, but that's not a name. That's a breed.
Was it Luby Lou?
Oh, Luby Lou. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. You get a nickname like that. Come to think of it. Anyway.
Interesting texting.
I can't believe that struck me after about 60 years, but there you go. Anyway, yeah, here we go, Luby Lou.
Okay,
Here we go,
fair.
Luby Lou. He used to go, here we go, Luby Lou, all on a Saturday night.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we don't need the calendar entry, darling. So, let's talk about something else.
Oh dear. Okay.
Luby.
I know, Frank. Stop saying it.
I don't think I've made it up.
Stop
I've got a lot of
saying
catching
it.
up to do.
I don't like it's on a Saturday night.
No, all on a Saturday night.
I know. Okay. Ian Stewart Dootson.
It's good to have a timetable.
Ian Stewart. Stop it.
Go on.
Ian Stewart Dootson has got in touch to say which is a little bit more wholesome.
Yeah.
I'm currently singing "Vile Lies Burning Like Fire."
Oh, that's good.
Vile Lies.
That could be my walk-on music on Celebrity Mastermind when I do the Vile Lies of Tomorrow's World. They don't have walk-on music. That would be good for they theme the music to what their specialist.
What, like a sort of Chris Eubank, Simply the Best?
Yeah, like when we had Alan Jones on my chat show and he came on to "If you tolerate this, then your children will be next."
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah, he was fine with it. Lovely lad. Okay.
I mean, is that going to be your next autobiography? He was fine with it.
Yeah. My next autobiography, how tragic. I must be due one. I was asked to do one.
How many have you written?
I've only done what I would call 2.
Why don't you do number 3?
No one cares anymore, let's face it.
Goodness, why don't you call it that?
Yeah.
I'd buy No One Cares Anymore.
That's a good
Frank
title.
Skinner alive.
No one cares anymore out in brackets, let's face it. Close brackets.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
There was a very thrilling sighting this week. Thrilling because it involved Thomas Cruise Mapother IV,
Oh, yeah.
who I don't think I've ever harboured a crush on any living human for so long.
Well, really.
I just can't quit him.
Me neither.
I quite like that freckly woman who's Joe Biden's spokesperson.
For God's
Dear.
sake,
Yeah.
Frank.
Yeah, but yeah.
Speaking of Mission Impossibles.
I mean, I've always
But it is true that ever since I've known Emily, that Cruz has been in the chair, the good-looking guy chair.
Do you know, even you saying his name, I felt butterflies, Frank.
I get
When
that
did it
when
begin?
somebody
Was it-
mentions Wendy Craig.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, extraordinary.
No, because she was in Butterflies.
Oh, okay. I like
okay,
that. No, but
okay.
come on, it's not out of the realms of possibility that you would also...
No, she was Elfin.
I just think...
Whereas I never fancied Michael Elphick. It's weird,
No.
isn't it?
What, TV's Boone?
Boone was good, though.
I know.
It was good.
And actually, I really respect
Bit of a
that
late
you gave
review.
him his name, because as we know, he's one of those people like Lovejoy who doesn't often get credited with his real name is rarely used.
Is that right?
Yeah, like
great,
Boone,
Deadwood.
TV's Boone. There was also Tosh Lines from The Bill.
Oh, yeah.
He was never given his real name. Now, Thomas...
Was it Cocktail that made you a Tom Cruise fan? Is that when it began?
Oh, I wasn't some Johnny come lately.
Oh,
I
it
was
before
there,
that?
The Outsiders, 1981.
Oh, my God.
wow.
Risky Business, 83. That's when you lot came on board. I was there well before
I've
that.
never... I liked him in The Last Samurai.
So did Al.
Yeah, that was...
That's
I've
Al's
not
favourite
seen that.
film. That's in his top 3.
Oh, it's good, that. I'd recommend it. What did you
Oh,
recommend? Emily had a big
White
recommendation.
Lotus.
White Lotus.
White Lotus.
Absolutely brilliant.
In fairness, that is a legal high that she was recommending off
It
air.
wasn't. It's a 6-part
Which is-
drama on Sky.
I recommended the same thing to Emma Peel in the 60s, and she drove one always afterwards.
Oh, lovely.
What is it? It's a drama, is it?
It's a drama. It's about privileged people in a holiday resort.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
So you
Sure,
might be able to relate to that,
You
Frank.
sure it's not called Love Island?
No. No.
Anyway, Tom.
Anyway, so
Don't want
Tom...
to drift too far away from Tom
Oh,
Cruise.
don't. Oh, wow. It's my... Frank, can't you ever introduce me? You're so well connected.
I've never met Tom Cruise, actually.
I know.
Which is odd. I'm one of the few people in the world who haven't met him because, remember at
does
film
3 hours.
premiere,
I wish I could meet him.
he would mingle for ages. And I mean, just at the end, people would say, I've already got your autograph. Get in the cinema.
He's so good with people, Tom.
Oh, he's good.
And...
You know why he's good with people?
yeah.
Because he can't resist dropping the cruise grenade.
Oh.
I imagine he gets up and says, like, who am I going to watch being thrilled to
Yeah.
meet Tom Cruise today?
Oh, yeah.
He loves it.
He loves it, Tom.
We all love it, but not as much as Tom loves it.
Well, he's
Tom.
over here. He's filming Mission Impossible. He's been filming it for the last 14
Hold it.
years.
Mission Impossible 7.
Oh, he's still got it, Frank.
Wow. What happened to when the original cast members used to leave about at least around 2? Like Grease 2 didn't have... I think Rydell High was in it. That was about it.
And these lucky beggars, they got a call. I believe they're called the Webbs.
Okay.
They've lured my Tom in. And they got a call saying Coventry Airport is closed. I mean, if someone called me saying that, I'd say big wow.
Yeah.
But they said, can we land a VIP in your field? So they must have thought a mayor, maybe a football manager. No, they got crews.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I bet you Coventry Airport was fully functional. And Tom said, "Can I land near some ordinary people today?" Come on, I love those guys.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
You've been slightly zinged, Frank, here. We were discussing Tom Cruise diverting his helicopter to land in some people's field, and 271 has texted, "I like Frank's description of an ordinary person, someone who's got a field to land a helicopter in."
Yeah. Well, no, I did. I was being Tom when I said ordinary person.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, there's a long way to go to be Tom from having your own field in Coventry.
Yeah, my back garden, I couldn't have someone park a smart car. That would be too much for my back.
Well, Tom would be causing chaos in my concrete patch.
Well, yeah. Here we go, Luby.
Have I had anything to do with it?
I was in a helicopter once and I flew over the home of Mohammed Fayed. And he's got a big H on the roof where he lands his helicopter.
I've got a combine harvester.
And apparently he was absolutely furious that they wouldn't let him put one on the top of Harrods.
Really?
So that he could fly to work. But if you fly a commercial helicopter down into London, you have to follow the line of the Thames. Them's the rules.
Having an H in the garden. I flew out to the home once of celebrity hairdresser Charles Worthington.
Did you really?
In Saint-Tropez.
Okay.
And I said, is Alan, that's his partner, around? He said, he's just on his way back from work. And then I heard the whir of the chopper and he landed on the H. Looked out the window.
Wow.
Flying around by heli. What a lovely commute.
What a lie.
A lot of money in serums.
Must be a nightmarish walk for a celebrity hairdresser underneath the blades, blowing it about.
When customers do it.
I mean, he must be really putting the spray on, hadn't he, before he gets off, so that it's not messed
like
up.
Your story about Michael Flatley.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I did the Royal Variety performance and shared a dressing room with Michael Flatley, he stood squatting in front of the mirror so that he could get his whole...
That is enough.
And he had hairspray in each hand.
Here we go, Luby.
Yeah, and he sprayed his hair. He emptied 2 cans of hairspray onto his hair. But of course, when you're dancing like that, keeping the hair utterly motionless is not easy.
You don't become the Lord of the Dance without some serious illness.
I know, but I could have taken him.
Cost us the ozone layer, though, didn't it?
Well, you got the Lord of the Dance. How perfect do you want your life to be?
Yeah. But what I'd like to have done is led him out of there and taken him to a building site and not given him a hard hat because it was not necessary.
Imagine them doing the check. No, Michael, you're okay. Oh, the Lord of the Dance. It's been a while, Frank.
Yeah, it was like to see him warming up. So anyway, I'll tell you what disappointed me about Tom.
Frank, imagine if you lived below the Lord of the Dance. You say, they've got excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I think you might have a mice infestation upstairs.
Yeah, it's got the Flatley upstairs.
Anyway.
If I'd have been Tom, what I would have done, I'd have got the helicopter to hover and I'd have done the cable drop from Mission Impossible.
Oh, that would be good.
Oh, they'd have loved. Imagine the photo opportunity. Tom in the black outfit on the cable
with the polo net. Can I tell you, if you'd have been Tom, you wouldn't be safe in this studio every week with me around.
No,
because.
What are you, some sort of cougar?
Excuse me, I'm younger than Tom.
Oh.
Okay.
Is it so you're not a cougar if the person is older? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a notion of it being slightly...
I don't know. My only knowledge is Courtney Cox, I believe, didn't she do Cougar Town?
She did.
I believe so. It
Yeah,
involved a younger man.
That makes sense.
Anyway, more on Mapother
Okay.
coming up.
That's what he was known as at school, more on Mapother.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
So we should go on to discuss in detail what Tom got up to.
Yeah, so he landed in their garden on the pretext that Coventry Airport was not operational.
Oh, don't be so cynical, so jealous.
I love the cynicism.
He got
so
went straight
jealous.
to the kids, which is nice, and chatted to them a bit.
He always delivers.
Yeah, I don't know if he was delivering, but
that what he was doing? Deliveroo?
He always delivers, but he delivers Tom Cruise basically.
Yeah.
And then he gave them a ride in his helicopter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was writing with David Baddiel in a cottage in Witney in Oxfordshire, and I agreed to do Jonathan Ross's show. And I said I won't be able to get there in time because we're working, and they said we'll send a helicopter for you.
Wow.
And then it was an incredibly... I don't know. It was an incredibly foggy day. It was an earlier manifestation of his chat show.
Yeah.
It was very foggy, and poor David Baddiel had to drive me down there because they couldn't get the helicopter. But when I got there, they said, we paid for the helicopter.
Sorry, that was my phone going off. I think it might be Jonathan Ross. I'm sorry.
Believe it. Well, I'm not paying him back.
That sounded like somebody had turned upside down one of those cow
I thought I'd turned my phone off. It's my Chewbacca alert. Anyway,
I tell you what, I used to have a teddy bear that when you upended it, it made that noise, sort of a groaning noise.
This is actually a member of the Ross family who has texted me.
Okay, what a coincidence is that?
There you
The
go.
Ross
Always
alarm.
with us. They're my little angels. Go on.
Anyway, so they said, well, look, we've paid for the helicopter, so you can go for you can still have it for 3 hours. It's yours. So
Cool.
I took my girlfriend of the time, the phrase I like to use, my amour de jour, and her sister, and we just went flying around. I remember there's a bit where the helicopter pilot, he made it feel like we'd parked on top of the clouds because he just hovered with the legs of the thing on the top of the clouds.
I love amour de jour to try and add some sort of French class to the whole experience. It's a bit like when the 70s thing of my lover, when someone was having an affair.
But it was great, and I'm sure the kids loved it.
Well, these kids, he elbow bumped them.
Oh, okay.
Then,
Did he? For COVID?
Then he went to a restaurant in Birmingham called Asher's. Now, I don't know Asher's. The only restaurant in Birmingham I'm familiar with, as you may recall, Frank, is Grill's Steakhouse with a Z.
Yeah.
I didn't actually go there. I virtually experienced it through a thief who charged it to my credit card. Remember?
My favourite place in Birmingham is in Harborne, it's Paul's at number 41.
Lovely.
I'll recommend that.
Well, you go ahead and recommend it, but that won't change Tom Cruise's mind because Asher's is his favourite. He liked it so much he bought 2 chicken tikka masalas, £19.45 each.
Yeah, but he didn't.
He bought 2, one first, then another one.
Well, exactly. I thought at first he took someone else,
That's
then the owner of Asher's, he said, yes, Tom ordered our chicken tikka masala, and then he ordered it again after he'd finished, and he said, which we take as the greatest compliment. I remember thinking to myself immediately, if you're in Birmingham, don't go to Asher's, small portions. That was my first thought.
Absolutely safe.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We were just discussing Tom Cruise eating a meal that he enjoyed and then immediately ordering it again, which is it's not the sort of behaviour I think of as Tom Cruise like. It's very me, actually. I didn't realise that me and Tom Cruise overlapped in the Venn diagram.
I'll tell you what isn't very you, and you won't take this the wrong way. I'm sorry, guys, but I just have to say, do you know what kind of a tip he left? So if we say the entire bill was $19.45...
Right, let's
Okay.
not
It
forget.
was that twice if he had it.
No,
This
it's
is
not
Birmingham. This is Birmingham, Al.
1945. Alpha, where do you think he's eating? Fortnum and Mason dining halls. It's 1945 for the 2 masalas. Okay. Do you know what his tip was, Al?
Carving. Surely that means that one of them cost something 12.
Well, he might have had a salty lassie.
All right, fair enough. He might have had a salty lassie.
Do you know what his tip was? Al, I put it to you.
Yes.
Do you know what his tip was?
45 pence. Rounded it up.
£60.
Whoa!
Nice.
Frank Skinner,
Money
what do you
to
say to
burn.
that?
Well, I was once with Dennis Leary, the American actor and comedian. Who's a friend of mine, and we were in Planet Hollywood. And he...
Wow, this is most 90s anecdote I've ever heard in my whole life.
And he paid for the meal, and then when the waitress came over, he gave her a tip of £250.
Oh, shut up.
And she burst into tears.
Actually makes me really like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of Mission Impossible 7, I'll tell you what's funny is that when I get an email from Dennis Leary, it says on the bottom, from the set of Ice Age 9, which is a joke. But when you consider that Mission Impossible 7 is real, Tom is catching him up his joke thing, because Dennis is the voice of the... saber-toothed tiger.
Are you still friends with him?
Yeah.
That's a very glamorous friend. I hope you don't mind me saying for you.
It's a good pen pal, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm quite jealous of that.
No, he's a very good bloke.
So, Tom, I think no one's come out of this badly. It's great for Tom. It's great for Ashes. That
Imagine.
family, they don't deserve it, frankly, because they didn't put in the sheer hours of dedication I've put in. I should have had him landing on my concrete patch.
Well, I met a woman who was... they had the police came to their house and said...
Big round of applause.
and they said, would it be all right if the Beatles go through your back garden to avoid fans? This was obviously back in the 60s. And so they arrived with 2 ladders. They put one either side of their top fence, and then the gate opened. And in the days when there were 4 lovable mop tops.
Cool.
And she said she told all her mates, and they were all lined up. They had like a sort of a guard of honour up the garden, and they walked up, climbed over one ladder, and went down the other ladder, and off to the gig.
Wow.
That would have been. I would have asked them if they'd do a Photoshop on the ladder carrying BOAC bags. But in my garden. But what a thing. Can the Beatles come through your garden? Well, no, actually, we're having a barbecue. So, no, they can't.
I'm a bit jealous of having that story.
Oh, no, it's the best, isn't it? Look, Sarah Champion is up next. Listen to Sarah, and thank you again for listening to us. It means a very great deal. And you know what? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.